If you're like me and struggle getting started on things, then maybe you have an over-reliance on motivation. I certainly have. Motivation for me has been a bit of a roller coaster ride. You know, I've had my ups where I've just can't wait to get started on things. I've had my downs where I've really struggled. And I've had times where that roller coaster has just broken down and I'm sat in the queue and I'm waiting for it to get fixed. And maybe it will get fixed, maybe it won't. But either way, when it does get fixed, I'm completely at the mercy of the direction and the course that roller coaster is going to go. This video, I want to talk a little bit about the 3 things that I've really been trying to implement over the last couple years, since having a child, since having a full-time job. So essentially since my time has been almost non-existent, in order to stay motivated, or at least to keep me on track towards the goals that I'm trying to do without relying on motivation. So those 3 things are simple systems, they are setting clear boundaries, and the final one for me is all about identity. How do you perceive yourself? How do you represent yourself? And what do the actions that you do affect the way that you perform in various aspects of your life? And so let's take a plane, for example. You have the pilot, which maybe represents motivation, and you have the plane, which represents systems. Now, let's say the pilot needs to take a break. He needs to go and chat to one of the air hostesses. He needs to go and fix something, sort something out, go to the toilet, whatever. That plane continues to fly. It keeps its altitude, it keeps its direction, and it keeps its speed, because there's systems in place to make sure that everybody on that plane continues to head to where they want to go, the destination that they are looking for, even if the pilots take their eye off the ball for a few minutes, for however long, right? So the pilots represent motivation, the plane represents the system. For me, the biggest systems are my routines. The best one for me is getting up early in the morning. When my alarm goes off at 5:30, I get out of bed, I don't think about anything. I go downstairs, my clothes were already packed from the night before, ready to go to the gym. I take a sip of pre-workout, put my shoes on, and I just get out the door. And before I know it, I'm on the way to the gym and I haven't even thought about what I'm doing. This is all happening on autopilot. So if you could set your systems up to allow you to do the same thing and reduce the friction in getting things started, that is one of the key things that I believe differentiates somebody who relies on motivation for somebody who's just, I guess, disciplined or structured and able to continuously show up and make actions that gear towards their goals. So the second point for me is all about boundaries. What I mean by this is having clear blocks of time within your day where you have specific focus. And what this does is it allows you to not carry things over from one task to the next. So when I'm in the gym, I'm focused on my programming and I know what I need to do in that aspect of my life to get closer towards my goals. When I'm at work, I know what I need to do. When I'm with my family, I'm dedicated and I'm present to all the activities that I'm doing with them. And what having boundaries does is it means that there's not all this mental clutter going on inside your head, which makes it really difficult sometimes to be present on what you want to do, to see the simplicity behind some of the tasks you need to do. That creates friction for you getting started on things. And this is something I'm really struggling with myself. Like, it's so easy, especially if you work from home, to let work spill into the evenings. It's easy to scroll on Instagram when you're at the gym, and it's easy to get your phone out or watch something with your little one or your child or your family instead of actually spending quality time with them. And the third thing for me is all about your personal brand and how your identity might be what's holding you back. This is something that's really challenging and something that's deeply ingrained in me that I've had to really be honest with myself about in order to make some positive change. Let's say one of your values is building friendships and trust among your friends, family, and being a loyal friend, for example. Yet you promised you were going to go out and see these people later on in the week or whatever, and yet just before you're about to, you cancel because you don't feel like it, you want to sit on the sofa, you want to do something that's more relaxing. Again, that is fine if your value is having time for yourself and you've planned to have that time and you've put it aside, then yeah, of course that's fine. But if your value is building friendships and maintaining friendships, for example, then this action is not aligned with that value. So let's take this into fitness, because that's something that I'm struggling with or trying to get better at. If you identify yourself, as I try to, as someone who's fit and healthy, then when I go into the cupboard and get out a bag of crisps at night just because I'm not really hungry but I want that hit of dopamine, then I could say to myself, is the action that I'm doing aligned with the value that I'm trying to display? So no, it's not. So I can say to myself, if at night time I need to go and get a midnight snack or a late snack or something like that, I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but it definitely happens. And I can say to myself, is this something that somebody who values health and fitness, is this something that that person would do? Obviously not. And I'm not saying this is an easy one. This is really difficult to deeply ingrain that value into all of your actions, your decisions. I think you will never get there 100%, or at least I certainly haven't found 100%. But if you start to think a little bit like that, people talk about reading. If you say you're a reader versus I'm someone who's trying to read, there's a bit of a difference here. If you associate yourself as a reader, then you're more likely to be like, that's just something that I do, as opposed to something I'm trying to do. Because by saying you're trying to do something, you're putting a little bit of a barrier in place. So in summary, I'm not perfect. My systems, they often fail. I often have periods of time where maybe I'll go out drinking and I'll have to write off a few days and I beat myself up about it. But look, we're all learning. And I hope that some of these things that I've shared with you can help you on your journey, whether you're trying to become fitter and healthier, whether you're trying to be a better parent or whatever it is, right? But what I honestly believe is just having these three things, the systems, the boundaries, and your own personal brand. I think if you can get those things right, for me, it's definitely helped me stay on the right direction towards where I want to go. So again, thank you for listening. Please like, please subscribe. And if you have any questions, just write something in the comments. Let me know what you want to see. If you're a parent, you're struggling for time, you have a busy life, whatever. What things do you struggle with? And maybe I can share some advice that I've learned over the last mainly 2.5 years that may be able to help. Thank you for watching.